I get emotional. I'm the emotional guy of us too. And ooh, it's hard. Thank you. Darren and I go a long way back, by the way. We couldn't have done it without them. They volunteered while we were trying to do other things to go out. We knew they had the knowledge of the water, the creeks, to go out, help us make those recoveries. Where do you need us? What do you want us to do? Can you do this? Absolutely. That's the kind of conversations that was had. And not one time do we ever say, or I hear, can't do that, Sheriff, can't do that, Chief.
Also had officers Zach Wofford and Kevin Hoofman were able to rescue from a boat one of the Waverly officers' family. He got called into duty, and his family's there at the house. He was on duty. His family's there at the house. And, of course, the water came up so quickly they couldn't get out. And officers Wofford and Hoofman were able to rescue that officer's family, his wife and 2 children, and get them to safety. And I saw that officer that first day afterwards, and he was just very emotional and thankful that he said, your officers saved my family's life.
Mr. Elkins had said something earlier about one of the guys that was taking care of one of the families that went in and rescued the officer's family that was on duty that morning. Chief won't talk about it, and it's hard on him, and I understand that. 2 weeks ago today, we buried that officer. He contracted COVID right after this operation, and he passed away. But if it hadn't have been for the peace of mind that those agents give him that day, he said he didn't know what he would do. The people that we recovered, to give you an idea of how violent this water was, correct me if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but most every one of our victims didn't have clothes on. The water was so violent, it wasn't water that they couldn't get out of. And one of those TBI agents that happened to be on the scene of this incident with us, we got to talking just shortly afterwards, and he said, do you realize something? I said, what, Joe? When you have a tragedy like this, to have a 100% recovery of everybody that was lost is almost impossible. It's unheard of. But to have the expertise of this agency and this agency of what they did, how they did it, was able for us to utilize that and get everybody back to their people. That's big, folks.
Me and Chris are such good friends and have been for a long time. And last Wednesday, I did get to go out there to Waverly and go through and see the devastation. And I know there's been a lot of cleanup that's went on before I got to see it. And he's right, pictures do not do it justice. But I talked to Chris on Saturday night after it happened, and I told him I'll be there in the morning. I'm bringing all my guys and equipment. I want to help you. And woke up Sunday morning feeling bad and tested positive for COVID. I felt so helpless, not that I had to call my boys and tell them, turn around and go back home. But talking with Chris and just the tone of his voice, I could just tell it was terrible. But I'm just proud of